I woke up. I didn't tap my phone. I was like, holy shit, we attacked Iran. Oh, fuck.
And then
The next video up, it was like
it was all black profile pictures, right? BLM, Ukraine, Palestine, Iran. And I think there's like probably 4 or 5 more of these. Like, who's paying them? Oh, wait. Somebody is paying them.
Somebody knows what
Somebody needs
happened.
intel. That's just so...
It might be some...
Terry talks about Venezuela oil gets shipped to Israel for the first time in years. He said he predicted this would happen after Maduro was removed. But yeah, in 2009, Venezuela cut oil exports to Israel after the Gaza massacre. Chavez expelled Israel's ambassador, broke diplomatic relations, and publicly aligned with Palestine. From that point on, Venezuela became a permanent target because Venezuela has the world's largest oil.
The Truth Disorder.
There you go.
This is a phenomenal, pivotal episode. My name is David, and we talk about some crazy shit here.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
That's Gary, the Butch Gets over here. Sometimes we want to release these pre-episode conversations. This will not be one of those times.
Just DM me offline. I'll join the Discord. This is something that we talk about in the Discord.
Yes, we need to be more active in the Discord. But yeah, welcome to Truth Disorder. Again, I'm David. It's Gary.
I'm Ernest.
What's up, guys?
We talk about some crazy shit sometimes.
Yeah, I've been having a really weird week.
Yeah,
so yeah, my energy's low. Yeah. I had to talk about something I'm very passionate about. So that really, you should have seen my energy when I walked in here. I was really down and out. I've experienced about 8 panic attacks, micro panic attacks yesterday. You know, just thinking about life and careers and stuff like that.
I called Gary earlier and I was like, "How you doing, man?" He was like, I'm just sitting out in front of this office.
Suicidal. But I had to switch up the energy. That's the point, right? You got to get into it. Like when showtime, when the curtains lift, you got to turn it on. You know what I'm saying? But so this is why this is why I found God, right? Because the things that I've put my soul through, like I was feeling dead for such a long time. Like the only thing that was going to bring me out of that and to give me 3 beautiful children, an amazing wife who is also an amazing mother, was by an absolute miracle, a miraculous act of God. And that happened. So
What happened?
I prayed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I prayed. I read my Bible and I prayed.
I'm just saying the reason why, like the way you outlined that, you turned to God.
No.
The way that was framed, right? Am I wrong?
Is that okay? My bad. No. No, like it's like really could be. It really could be anybody. You know, people. You just don't know people. You know. No. It wasn't like, no, that was like 2008. Like I probably didn't really get serious about my spirituality. Like for real. Like I said, I was getting serious about it, and God did work miracles in my life probably around 2018. It was giving me a glimpse of what, the reward is of faith, right? But I didn't really actually get serious probably in like 2023. So it was a long time. So today on Truth Disorder, is Epstein still alive? Bill Gates was given permission to spray mRNA onto our food. That's new. Venezuela oil getting shipped to Israel. Epstein and the Erica Kirk fam found some connections there. What was promised versus what we got in regards to the Trump administration. There is actually a genetic testing. My wife told me about this. There's a genetic testing for Ashkenazi Jew mutations. So they actually test you if you have the Ashkenazi Jew mutation because it is cancer, like it is indicative of having cancer. So that's actually completely wild to me. But not only that, she actually brought this up because we were talking about how Ashkenazi Jews might actually be descendants of Noah's grandson, Canaan. And there is a theory that Ham, one of Noah's sons, did something perverted to his dad while he was sleeping once they came back. Yeah. And so that's why Noah cursed Ham's bloodline. And so it is believed, possibly, that the synagogue of Satan, who now inhabits and pretends to be Jewish, are actually descendants of Canaan, Ham's son. So all that
threw that in.
And what do you guys want to talk about?
I mean, you have like 2 of.
I got
like 2 or 3 things that are already on my list. So.
Yeah, preparation prevents piss poor performance, and so we're here.
was
David.
phenomenal.
Thanks, man.
David, where were you? How's it Disney?
Dave, and by the way, so
With the mouse.
Charles is out again. Charles is working on. He's planning his next trip to Disney. Almost joined the military because he knew what we were going to talk about. He is really fond of barracks closets. But yeah, so no, we'll hopefully hear from him very soon. Yeah, moment of silence to Charles. Shh. Okay, David, how's your week, dude? Fucking out here crushing it in real estate, man. You good?
Charles is fond of closets. No, yeah, everything's great. Just been super busy. No, I think that your list is pretty good.
Okay.
There's some really worrisome things happening in the world right now. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You'd mentioned something about Epstein, and I was scrolling the other day, and I found a video of this dude walking. Is it Amsterdam or somewhere? And he's passing by this girl, and he's like, Ghislaine? And she like, he goes, are you? And she goes, no, I don't. What are you talking about? But you could tell that there was like this inherent, like somebody just said my name, sort of like, because you hear your name, Gary, you're like, somebody say my name? And it was.
Did you ever
it was
hear it
basically
and nobody's there?
No, I'm not schizophrenic.
I'm just me neither, dude. Just wondering if anybody else did. My bad.
Nope.
No, go ahead.
No,
yeah, what were you saying?
it's not me.
I didn't say anything.
I did.
Huh?
No, it's crazy. I was like, oh shit, what if she's still alive and then also Epstein's still alive? That'd be crazy.
Yes.
I also don't think. What did we just see? Because it was it the Clintons that were being deposed right recently, and was it somebody asked Bill Clinton a question about whether or not Donald Trump and Epstein were great friends, and he was like, no, I just know that they have been, they've been seen together, this and that, and then the question stopped, and so Bill Clinton stopped, and then did you see this video, by the way? No, okay. Because he stopped, and then the questioning stopped, and he was like, wait, I thought you were going to follow it up. Let me be clear. Like,
he's sticking up for Trump.
They did not like each other. So it's like, let me be clear that they did not, towards the end of the relationship, they did not like each other, and he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. Sticking up for Donald Trump, and I was like, holy
Crazy.
shit, that's actually like a switch I never thought was coming.
Where there is a rumor saying that Trump was like some spy, was supposedly hired by the CIA or something like that to be a spy, and that's why
Donald Trump could not keep that secret from the CIA.
But hey, isn't that what they would want you to expect? Like, he would be the last person you would expect.
No, because he would be like, I'm the spy, I'm the greatest spy, the best there ever was. I'm insane. Some people would say I'm even better spy. Like, that dude would.
You been working on that?
That dude would like.
You been working on that?
No.
Yeah, you practicing secretly? That's pretty good.
In the mirror.
No, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. That'd be.
There's just rumor about. It's just
quick he was to be like, fine, fucking release all the UFO files. Like, really? Does that happen?
I mean, the other side of the speculation is that is why we are doing what we are doing in Iran right now, is to gaslight us from the Clinton trials. I don't know if you've seen some clips of what's going on there.
I think that's everybody's like go-to with, oh my God, something's happening over here. What's happening over here? When multiple things can be happening at the same time inadvertently. Like, I think that attacking Iran was because something was happening with Israel and the United States, that they were like, you know what, F it, we're doing this.
I like Tucker Carlson's take, and he says that simply put, the reason why we did it is because Israel told us to. Essentially, like however,
wait, it sounds like something I said. Hold on, I said this like months ago.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortune teller here. So if you're not following Truth Disorder already, right? Like, I foresee you waiting too long to do it. No, just go ahead and follow us, dude.
A certain country that leads the world in.
As long as Ernest is posting our podcast to Rumble, you can go back in time and go find out what's going to happen in the future. I'm not even like talking us up like that, but legitimately, like, we don't talk conspiracy theories. We pretty much tell the future on this podcast.
We're like 15 of 15.
Yeah. That was maybe 15 of 16. I'm not going to say we're perfect,
Yeah, but I mean,
there can only be one.
Who mentioned like, oh, hey, Israel's the leading state in technology advancement.
Yeah.
And they just so happen to be blackmailing all of our Congress and all of our Senate.
Right.
And they're pulling the strings because those guys don't want the dirt to come out. Well, the dirt's coming out, so now we've got to succumb to their.
I'm trying to figure out if the clips I'm seeing of people in Venezuela and Iran of people celebrating are actual, just like real clips. of these Iranians. And because if that's the case, then I mean, then it tells me that us invading and taking Maduro and taking out the Iranian regime is a good thing, right? Because the people are oppressed, right? The first with Venezuela, I mean, their socioeconomic standards were, you know, at an absolute low. So to come in there to help them, to, you know, shift things for them, that's a great thing. Much better than Ukraine under Biden, right? Like that's just been a constant. Then things come out of how we put so much money into Ukraine, and then somehow comes back to fill up our politicians' pockets.
Well, you got to be real careful with the regime in Iran, right? I think, and I say that because this is something that Charlie Kirk himself spoke and had very intellectual knowledge on, is that the fact that in like the 1950s, I believe it was, the U.S. instilled the regime that we're now trying to,
like the 60s or something like that,
somewhere around there.
Yeah,
I forget the exact date, but that's something that Charlie advocated very profusely.
Yeah, just stay away from it. Like it's not something we should get involved with.
Exactly. And some believe that that's why he
got killed. Yeah, no, I mean that's something that I know I've been saying since it happened. I know I'll be roped into the same camp as Candace Owens. I'm already seeing some backlash from some folks who have access to my social media that, you know, they're telling my bosses, you know, I don't want him to do a training because he gives me a weird vibe. What? You don't like my political stance? So you don't want to learn how to sell more homes?
Yeah, for real. You don't want to learn from the best?
Like what's the vibe?
Yeah. I mean, we had this conversation the other day when I think David wasn't there. David was at Disney. He was playing with the mouse. But yeah, we were talking about this, and it's, you know, the fact that, and this is why society is where society is because we can't put our differences. You want
to try that again?
Our differences aside.
Our differences, not our differences aside. We can't put our differences aside. Everybody has to be politically correct and in alignment with what you believe in. And if not, they are lesser of a human.
Or they go after your character. They go after, they do some sort of like sociopathic, psychopathic, gaslighting maneuver to try to take you down from every angle. It's absolutely cowardly. It's demonic, in my opinion. I did a training for some folks today, and guess what? One of the person drove up wearing a mask, and she walked in wearing a mask.
You didn't point this person out, though.
No, of course. I mean, I didn't treat her any differently. You know, I see her heart. I saw her energy. You know, she just said, I'm tired of being sick. And I didn't want to be like, and I want to, of course, part of me wants to be like, well, actually, you're probably going to get more sick by you keeping the mask on. You're recycling germs. That's not the time, nor the place. And if she still wants to learn some more stuff or have a conversation, I would love to do that. But I'm not going to say, I don't want to train this person. She has such a weird vibe.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not going to go after her character, her entire personality. I'm not going to try to take food off of her plate, right? For what? Because I think that's silly to wear a mask? No,
she doesn't believe in what you believe in.
Because she doesn't believe what I believe in.
It's stupid. It's the stupidest thing ever, and that's why society is where society is.
It's a society.
It's even more shitty that you can't say this without genuinely getting in trouble for doing that. Because just the fact that we are saying this right now, somebody would think that because we are not backing up that other side, that we are automatically on the farthest of the right side, and go fuck yourself, you know, death to you.
Yeah.
And you suck. And I can't believe you would ever be the person that you are.
Yeah. Well, and now they take it as far as like you shouldn't even be able to live, right? You shouldn't be able to provide for your family. You shouldn't be able to have things that you have because of your beliefs. Like, really, you believe that? Think of all the people that died because of this. Well, actually, people died because they were put on ventilators, and once you're put on a ventilator, your chance of survival decreases substantially.
It was the remdesivir. It was flooding organs. That was part of the NIH protocol. So, yeah, they intubate you, and then they flood your organs with remdesivir, and you actually ended up dying from organ failure instead of actually COVID. But they marked it down as COVID-related death from COVID.
And guess why?
Because they got more.
You know, I saw a reel the other day that was talking about the benefits of copper and actually grounding And I believe it was back in the early 1920s, that hospitals used to actually use copper handles to their entryways, to their rooms, because the copper actually grounded the person, killed bacteria, didn't allow for bacterial growth or any of the other kind of nasty.
I put copper in my chickens' water container and in the outdoor cats' water containers. And literally no bacteria grows. It keeps all of that stuff.
I saw a guy ground his crops, his plants. He had a small vegetable garden. He literally wrapped everything in copper wiring.
Kept the pests.
Kept the pests away, gave them more natural growth.
They're beautiful looking too.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
He says
they grew faster.
They tasted better. Everything about it was better. Yep. It's just crazy that I think it was the Rockefeller family.
It was
that actually came in and changed that.
Yep, created the AMA, American Medical Association, and then they threw out all of the homeopathic remedies, and it's crazy. Yeah, I know. I have this conversation all the time with all kinds of people. You know, from a lot of folks don't know that doctors probably, unless they specialize in creating vaccines, they probably spend 2 months studying vaccines out of the 1 million years that they are in school.
They're 8 years.
And then the most they know.
Of course, you can't possibly, even if you're trying to like niche into something, you can't possibly learn all of that. That's why even majority of like your primary care physicians, they have like a Wikipedia of medical notes to where they can, because you couldn't possibly do that. Lawyers, and I mean, I'm not going to compare a real estate agent to doctors or lawyers, but it is almost in the sense to where there is so many things for us to learn consistently that you will never be an expert in every single aspect of real estate. Again, lawyers, same thing. They'll never be. That's why you have real estate lawyers. That's why you have, defense attorneys. That's why you have prosecutors, because they have their own niche that they've learned. And even at that, they won't learn everything.
That's why some real estate teams, they'll say, all right, you're a showing agent. Now you're a buyer's agent.
Right.
Now you're a listing agent.
Right.
Now you're a supervisor or team leader. Right. So there's levels to this shit.
Yeah,
right.
And so it's still just trying to relate to like the medicine here. You'll just never know, and so taking advice from people, it's just you have to take it with a grain of salt. And the hardest thing is that when we were fed all this information about COVID or whatnot, even into the future, when we're fed information, we're just at the what word am I looking for?
Precipice,
to where we have to just take their word. You know, we can research all we want, but at a certain point, we're either going to do it or we're not going to do it, right? So it's just like. How can you believe?
So I got lucky with my current primary care manager because he took care of my dad for years before he passed away. Honestly, I had to tell him straight up. I was like, I kind of blame you sometimes that my dad died because you kept giving him pills. And so now, you know, I talk about all the stuff that I've researched and looked into and the stuff that I've taken myself and what it's done for me. And he humbly received that. Now we kind of have this group, this team effort when it comes to my treatment. Like he gave me ivermectin cream after we tried the VA's way, and that didn't work, right? So I've talked about that before. And
the interesting thing is that as you both are learning throughout your life, you're not going to understand. You won't truly know until you're almost dead that any of this stuff worked, because whether or not there's like negative repercussions to what you're using is even gonna like long last, right? Like, or have the long lasting effects, right? So you can take all the knowledge that you have now and then pass it on to, you know, your children, and then your children will use that. We still won't know if it doesn't have long lasting effects because it could be now generational, right? So it's like, it's hard to truly understand. All we can kind of do is the best for what we have now, right?
Well, and that's the problem with science. Science is only right for the present moment.
Yeah.
You're supposed to keep
It's always going to be proven wrong.
You have to assume it's always wrong. And then once you assume that it's always right, then you know something funky's going on. Trust the science. You remember that? Which
I can kind of relate to, like the vaping thing, right? Like, you don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore because of all the hundreds of chemicals, but yet, you know, vaping is supposed to be healthier for you. You can actually breathe easier when you're vaping. So like for me, it went from smoking to vaping, and I could run for the first time. I was like, oh my God, I can actually breathe. But then you vape so much, you have all this stuff in your lungs, and you're kind of still killing yourself, right? So then people are starting to develop popcorn lungs and this and that, and you're like, oh, well, there is long-lasting effects. And now we still don't know if there's going to be even further long-lasting effects, right? Like, I don't know. I won't know until I'm 50 that vapes have a 20-year time bomb on them, and now I've got a new rare form of cancer because I vaped for a few years when I was 20. right? You never really know that. As much as we're told that, oh, well, we don't see any long-lasting effects right now, you never know.
The problem is they won't actually, the justification or the answer that they would likely give you if that were to happen, let's say you were to end up with cancer because you vaped for 5 years of your life, is that there's no way to prove correlation.
Sure. It could be because I passed by Chernobyl one time on an airplane.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's easy to say when we're in the moment that, and I'm not trying to defend doctors or anything like here. With your situation, Gary, I'm just saying that it's hard to believe what we're told, but we have to believe at some point what the truth is, right? Because science backs it or whatnot, right? Like with the COVID vaccine, it's like everyone that took it, I genuinely think truly believed that their government was working in the best interest for them, right? Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people that automatically were like, no, that's bullshit. Yourself included, right? But there's like I said, the majority of those people were like, okay, well, I have to trust, right? And when does that start to blur? When are we like, okay, I don't trust, but then I have to trust in this?
Just do your own research.
I mean? Right, but I'm not a doctor. I don't have the...
You don't need to be a doctor. That's my argument to everybody out there. Everybody's like, oh, I'm not smart enough to understand this stuff. Well, no, it's not.
Your own research comes at a point, though. That's what I'm trying to say, is like, what are you researching that eventually you're going to find that, okay, I believe that this is now the truth? Do you know what I mean? Because you can do your own research. You do your own experiments, test your own things on yourself. But at a certain point, you believe that something has worked and it's now the truth.
Yeah, it's like just checking your sources and where the money's coming from for those sources. I'm at the point where I'm going to trust a group of independent researchers who are not getting paid by the government to go do research.
That's fair.
Or independent journalists who are not getting paid anything. Like, really, independent journalists are modern day heroes in my book. These people are legends because they risk everything and they don't get paid anything for it. Like they making pennies on the dollars for influence. Right, but then they start making a little money, and then the powers that be cut off their accounts. So now they have to start from scratch again. Do that over and over. I saw it so often during COVID. This person's putting out amazing research and showing actual issues of NIH protocols, MA protocols, what doctors are making off of vaccinating kids, and they're putting all that out there, and then their account gets banned, right, and then they have to start it all over again. I've seen
for like false information. And
yeah. False information.
Right.
Yeah, it's the powers that be that make the money, right? Because big tech was making money from governments, right? From Pfizer to do all that stuff, right? To cancel people. Right. So that's why I say, like, I'm going to follow where's that money coming
and go the
other direction every time. If there's money getting put into it, I'm going the other direction. I'm going to go see what the counter.
Well, that's hard to believe too. And by the way, I'm just playing devil's advocate here because eventually someone like you who's passionate about it maybe has millions and billions of dollars that does decide to put money into the people that they believe are doing the right thing.
Yeah, they get
like
killed.
These reporters. But when they start doing that, now you see the money going there. Do you now not?
It doesn't
trust
happen.
The source?
There's no money in the truth.
Well, sometimes there is.
No, there's not. Look at Charlie Kirk. Money started coming in, and then big money was about to come in because they wanted him to not talk truth. And they killed him. Right,
but there was still money going in, so you elect to believe that because I'm trying to show that your point to the following the money is there was still money going in there, and so you believe them, but there's still money going in, so you're trying to follow that money where that money doesn't go anywhere.
I think Charlie was a little bit more trustworthy when he was a smaller independent versus when he became TPUSA.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's just me because there were things that for a fact because he openly stated on like the PBR podcast and stuff like that he could not talk about because of fear of losing
PBR podcast
funding.
Patrick PBD?
PBD, yeah, PBD. I said PBR, PBD podcast. So and he was the one that warned him. I mean, like, hey Charlie, you can't say that.
Yeah, told him that
straight up on air. Hey, you can't say that, Charlie. And then what? 2 days later,
the key word's discernment. And I feel like if you're not actively praying for discernment muscle, then these things won't be revealed to you. You won't get that like poke in the back of your brain. It's like, hey, you probably need to look at this a little bit further. I do feel like by praying for the discernment and the influence of the Holy Spirit, that you do get divine nudges. I do think that, I mean, it's a common miracle that we overlook constantly. Like, we do get divine, like, I had no idea why my daughter was having seizures after her 2-month vaccines when she came home. I had no idea. And I wasn't in prayer, nothing like that. not like regularly or anything like that. And that's what, like, I'm just like, now, okay, now I'm freaking out. And my wife's like, I'm like, what happened? What's going on here? Oh, we just had her 2-month appointment. She got her MMR and she got, her maybe a flu shot or something like that. And it's like, what? This is what's happening after that, and so like a lot of people just don't like correlate the two. And it isn't until like, unless you pray for it or you get traumatized enough because something screwed you over so bad because you've been complacent and don't have the discernment to actually find the truth out before it actually hurts you. And that's where we're at now. We're in this like false sense of security sheeple state where it's like, oh, they don't want to keep us sick. They need us. They love us, right? Ain't nobody love us.
They don't want us.
They want to keep us sick. We're cows. We're goyim. We're cattle. We're cattle goy.
Oh, that's straight from
the Epstein files. We're cattle. They keep us sick. If we're healthy, we're not making them money. Simple.
So I got a question because I read this and I want to bring it up while we're talking about truths because we're called truth disorder for a reason. But there is a belief because some U.S. troops have been speaking up about this that they were told that the Iran war is for Armageddon, which is the return of Jesus. So there are some speculations and rumors amongst our U.S. military that the reason why we are there is to try and expedite the return of Jesus.
You can't force the hand of God.
And
that's what Zionists are doing.
And that's why we are there. And that a particular state and leader is forcing our hand into that to try and help him validate their truth of the Talmud. Because they don't believe the Messiah actually has returned. So that is why we are in war so suddenly.
Well, it's not suddenly.
It's not a buildup.
Yeah, I mean
there was a buildup. I think that this is his chess. I think that not necessarily just Donald Trump, but his advisors behind him. Because if you think that Donald Trump is pulling all these crazy strategies, come on. I mean, the advisors at hand have gotten so many plans at his desk, and he's probably read through all of them. And then there was an advisor that was like, okay, this is probably the best one. He was like, okay, cool, whatever, do it. You do what you have to do. If you honestly think that all these advisors just don't work for the same freaking back-end government, then that's crazy. But the reason why I say that is because I think taking out their nuclear arms first, was it last year, right, in June? I think doing that first was super smart. And I think putting a reason behind it of they were getting close, they were like, no, we're like 8 months out. We're going to hit them again, and no one's going to think none the wiser. Honestly, if you don't think that, I mean, come on.
My only, issue with it is the whole, the U.S. hit them, and then shortly after that, Izzy hit them.
Well, yeah, because somebody was gonna help that was close.
It's the whole if you do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, they launched on Italy, they launched on France, they launched on Dubai. They've launched on several other countries now.
Hezbollah.
Talking about Iran?
Yeah.
It's been like 10 or different countries.
Now it's like, okay, all you guys were laughing, and now, well, it's funny because you have two different sides. All you guys were laughing, and now you're involved in it. And then there's if the U.S. never attacked, then we wouldn't be in trouble. It's just like, bro, do you not realize how in trouble you already were?
Well, they asked Trump.
How easy it was for you to get hit?
They asked Trump, I don't know, it was yesterday or a couple days ago, they asked Trump, did you do this because Israel made you, basically? And he said, no, I did this because it seemed like they were going to attack first. So I didn't want to wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
Which to me makes sense. I'm very, very, very pessimistic and just critical of every administration we ever have. So you guys know that already. But something about this one, I don't know if they're just doing a really good job at conservative propaganda or what, but I am kind of supportive of what we're doing.
Absolutely. Like I said, the reason why I said advisors is I know it's a little silly, but how many movies have we seen where there's definitely advisors behind the table that are like, hey, this is about to pop off. You have this one decision. Now is the time you make it. This probably happens every single day with the president. I mean, they're probably just having lunch or golfing, and it's just like, hey, by the way, this is what's happening over in Iran. You might need to do something about it. And he looks it over, and he's like, no, not yet. Right. So it's like, this has definitely been something that's happening. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the cartel attacks and it's like, holy shit, we've got to steer our focus close to our borders. This is happening. And so Iran's like, now's the time. We're going to do something. And then somebody came over with a folder and was like, hey, by the way, you're focused over here, Mr. President, but Iran's doing something. you need to look at this.
I think this I think this was less kind of like a day of type thing. And I think this was more of a strategy. And the reason why I say that is because of how we handled Maduro. There was just so much incentive financially from a fuel perspective as well, oil perspective, and even maybe the crypto thing, because we talked about the Bitcoin a little bit on the podcast, that we may have confiscated. But anyways, going in and then taking control of oil from Venezuela, doing that first, ensuring that it's secure, and then going into Iran, honestly, good move. Bravo. It's a big deal. Like, I think that was just a very strategic move. So I think this is something that's been planned.
I think it was a test from Iran because, like you said, the Venezuela thing, then the Mexico thing, and it's like, this is all happening at once. And it's like, I think now's our shot at the United States, or now's our shot at Israel, while everybody else is too focused on these two things. It's just like, well, let's just take it.
Well, the Venezuela thing made sense until we sent the first barrel of oil not to the U.
Yeah. What was that? Venezuela. Yeah, it's right here. Look at that. Look at that. You already know. You already know about you on this.
I've been itching to talk about this.
Irking is probably not the best word.
I've been itching to talk about this for like the last 2 weeks. But somebody had their worked on and
had surgery, guys. I was out for 2 weeks. So that's why I've been out and about. It's not because Ernest didn't post this time.
Jeez, thanks, Gary. Throw me under the bus there. Like I already don't have enough on my plate. It's gonna sell like $2 million this month.
Okay, all right, relax.
You think I'm joking? I'm not.
I believe you, Ernest. Stop flexing on us,
bro. Here I'm like,
goodness.
I don't know. I like my theory about it, and you're right. Maybe we are. There's a lot of us that were hearing this conservative propaganda, and we're like, I like this. I do. I like this.
Well, it's not the hearing; it's the seeing of the Iranians celebrating this all over the world.
If it's true.
And then if it's true, I kind of do too. Yeah. Like,
I want to believe it because, I mean, like I said, Charlie was a very big advocate of like, hey, we instilled that regime.
I mean, Iran's always been a problem. And what's even fucking crazier to me is all the signs that were made the morning I woke up. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. I actually meditated that morning. I felt great. I didn't check my email. I got to work. I looked at my phone and I was like, holy shit, we attacked Iran. Oh, fuck.
And then
the next video up, it was like protests. I can't believe you had done this. Iran.
Like they already have them printed out?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Like
there was a guy.
Like, this is such a bad look for the hard R's.
There is an independent journalist on Instagram that called them out in New York on that.
What was it? It was all black profile pictures, right? BLM, Ukraine, Palestine, Iran, and I think there's like probably 4 or 5 more of these. Like, who's paying them? Oh wait, we know. Soros. Somebody is paying them and having them just ready. But
somebody has intel. Somebody knows what
somebody has intel. It's just so.
It might be some sort of like Democratic Party that's already got these things already on their list that's ready to go, and it's just like, we're trying to drive the nation into the arms of the Democratic Party, and it's just like,
I'll tell you, we just shot for
so many things.
We just shot for a printer, and there ain't no printer on the market that can print them out that fast.
Mm-hmm.
As quickly as they did it,
unless it's run by Claude. But yeah, like Ali Zateri talks about Venezuela oil gets shipped to Israel for the first time in years. He said he predicted this would happen after Maduro was removed. But yeah, in 2009, Venezuela cut oil exports to Israel after the Gaza massacre. Chavez expelled Israel's ambassador, broke diplomatic relations, and publicly aligned with Palestine. From that point on, Venezuela became a permanent target because Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves.
But
yeah, this was never about Maduro, according to Ali. Corrupt leaders are everywhere, but they are mainly targeted for their resource, having no Rothschild control central banks, criticism of Israel, and exposing Zionist control over America. The media demonizes leaders when it serves a strategic goal. So people were told about this narco-terrorism, which I do think there was a bit of narco-terrorism, maybe a bit of narco-terrorism. But according to Ali, the largest drug empires on earth aren't foreign governments. They're pharmaceutical corporations that kill millions, pay fines, and keep operating. Juice, Sackler family, Juice, we're going to say Juice from now on. Juice, Zionist Juice, who are not actually Juice. The Synagogue of Satan Sackler family killed 500,000 Americans. No arrests, nothing. January 2026, U.S. forces captured Maduro. They used a cheap lie they use every single time. Liberation. The U.S. then assumed control over Venezuela oil sales. 1 month later, Venezuela started sending oil to guess who? So Venezuela has $17 trillion in oil. What do you guys think? Was it about the oil and we lied about narco-terrorism? Or maybe we had something to do with all of the drugs that was coming in for their narco-terrorist ambitions,
I have multiple,
only to use them as a straw man to get their oil.
I've got multiple perspectives on this because, and the reason why I even brought it up, not only because it's on your list, because that was like the first thing that we did that I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like, okay, we're going to fight drugs coming across our border here in the U.S., right? We're going to take out the leader who's actually allowing this to happen. And then I was like, okay, we'll benefit from this too because we'll have access to the largest oil reserve in the world. And then we send oil to Israel. Our gas prices have gone up. Our oil prices have gone up here. They're blaming it on now the war, which is then again benefiting who?
Juice. Zionist juice.
So I like what we're doing. I like that we're freeing a country from the regime that's been instilled by us, trying to fix our wrong actions. But at the same time, it's hard for me to not be able to connect the dots that indicate we're doing it for somebody else's greater good.
I didn't know that Venezuela did not have a Rothschild-controlled central bank. Their central bank of Venezuela
the only country they didn't
was 100% state-owned.
Yeah. So that's my two like hard things. Like, yeah, we're doing good. We're freeing them from a regime. The people are happy. The Iranians are happy. Everything's good. But the alter perspective is like, are we doing this for us or are we doing this for somebody else? Because what do we benefit from this other than that they won't attack us with nuclear warfare?
It's almost like we give these subcultures the resources to oppress their people so that we have an excuse to take them out once they do all they can to push whatever we need from them, right? Like to create like these oil reserves or whatever. Like okay, let's let them have all the oil reserves and all that, right? And they grow that industry, they become successful in that regard, and then they provide the resource, or who the name that shall not be spoken, provides the narcotics, the ability that, and even intel on how to get that transferred up. So they basically let these rich and powerful people that they put in place, these scapegoats, they let their evil twin, their evil side to take advantage of their power and then oppress their people so that now we have an excuse, to take them out once they've already done the hard stuff in their own respective countries. Is that clear? I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
David, you good?
We're letting them build the infrastructures.
Thank you. Letting them build the infrastructures while then also giving them the ability, like they might have a choice. It's like, hey, we're going to throw you drugs. We're going to throw you trade routes. We're going to throw you, submarines for you to be able to, or
if we did that for the purpose of taking it, then why would Trump say what he said to Iran?
As far as like giving them the chance to.
It's like, now's your time.
Yeah.
You take back your government. Which, by the way, if you don't think that that's like the most powerful thing a president has said to another country, that was incredible. For him to be like, hey, I'm not here for you. I'm not here for your country. I'm here to take somebody evil off this.
It sounds good, but let's keep an eye out for who gets put into power or voted in.
Well,
let's see how that.
Well, not our problem now.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's see who gets put in. So it's a theory that this is going to further push the world into the Antichrist era as well.
Could you imagine if somebody did that to Washington, D.C. and was like, all right, America, step up, take it back? No, can you imagine which Texan do you think would be the president?
Wesley Hunt. That'd be great.
It would definitely be a Texan. Come on.
It had to be Texan.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Hey,
if that would happen, would you guys want to run with me?
I mean, the
be wheels.
So the problem with that though is like
Greg Abbott? No. Sorry.
if that were to happen, there are measures in place that would trigger military personnel to take action and say
for us.
For us.
Yeah, there's
it's like, oh, they
contingencies on contingencies for us. I completely
you're the chief or whatever. Like you,
If I'm watching this show, if this gets turned into a clip somehow, Leah, let's just keep an eye on who gets installed in the Iranian power. Okay, let's see if they get a new central bank that is dependent on the Rothschild system.
We might want to try and guess the CIA handler.
Yes, exactly. Who is going to be that next person, right? Like, if, you know, the Trump said, take over your government. Okay, let's see if they actually do that. Do. Or if somebody just gets installed.
Man, I would like for them to just like be able to step up and actually do it. Could you imagine the future of Iran if somebody were to be able to step up and do something? Because would it be? Because then they'd have to worry about like the countries that surround them, right? But imagine the possibilities that they have. There's two choices, and I always go back to it in like arguments. You have the will to be nice or evil when you're talking to somebody.
You know what's crazy is that North Korea is still like not touched.
That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking the same thing because I was like, is it because they have nukes? Yeah. Probably.
Dude, I mean, I've seen some of those videos, and I'm like, that was kind of a limp dick nuke. That did not pan out.
Like Hammer Industries from
maybe that's why nobody's touched them because they're.
We can take their land, like take them down. Hey, North Korea, now's your time. Take back your government.
Might be saving them for last.
Could you imagine though?
Who? I mean, the only countries within reach of them would be, of course, China and maybe Russia. I don't know that we could send missiles unless we flew them on or put them on naval ships and
for like the betterment of the world though, because that's a whole bunch of landmass and people that could just better the world.
Well, I wonder how they would vote too, right? Because who runs
how many people already hate America in that area, right? So it's like they're going to vote for people who just hate America.
Maybe. I don't know. And I think about like voting that happens in America, right? Because Matt Walsh was actually talking about how digital ID might become a thing for voting. You know, and that's another thing. I don't really believe in digital ID for voting. I think that you should just be using a driver's license. And if you don't know how to get a driver's license, anybody can get a driver's license unless you're like illegally unable to. If you can figure out how to legally identify yourself, then I trust you voting. If you can't figure out how to legally get a way to identify yourself, I don't trust you should be voting and deciding on what happens in this country. You know what I mean? Is that bigoted? Is that racist?
No,
the truth.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
yeah, fill out some paperwork. You can't spell your name. You can't show up.
I don't know your birth. You don't know your social security.
Like if you're elderly, like, okay, let's maybe implement some systems to get the elderly out to renew their IDs. You know, something like that makes sense. Like that's sensible. But if you're like 25 years old, your legs work, your arms work, you just don't know how to Google how to spell your name.
Just lazy.
You're just lazy, you know? Because really the target is getting illegals to vote. That's really what they're you know, the propaganda is actually aimed towards, is getting illegals to vote.
Well, how easy would it be to get a digital ID?
It's not.
It's not, right? Like you do the digital ID for your traveling, right?
Yeah.
For Disney, right?
No, I had to upload a copy of my passport.
Okay.
It wasn't like I was able to just like, oh, here's me.
Mm-hmm.
No, I had the audit number on my passport and the photo of the passport. So it wasn't very easy. No. And the only reason why I did it regardless was because of global entry. That was the only reason. Else I wouldn't have given anybody my passport information. But
you want to know what I do when I can't figure something out? I ask a friend.
You ask ChatGPT?
Or ChatGPT,
yeah.
Or I Google it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know if I can't do if something means something enough and I can't get somewhere, you know what I do? I ask for a ride.
For help?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I do.
Are you saying people don't do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying they're just bitching and moaning.
Well, people are so scared to interact with one another.
Okay, so don't vote. The fuck?
Bro, they can go out in the streets.
So you're telling me
protest
you're scared of life, but you can go party, you can go make some babies that you don't want to take care of? All right? That's not.
But so Iran was actually trying to vote. I don't know if you knew that or not, but Iran was trying to vote and they freaking hit them with missiles while they were voting.
Iran was trying to vote?
Iran was trying to vote. They were trying to vote in the son of the one that just...
No, they weren't voting for shit. They were just installing a replacement for the oppressive regime.
I thought they were voting.
No. Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, here's a succession plan. Boom. No, there isn't. Nice try.
And
No, that's really what happened.
All right, sir. I think they're about to literally crown him. Should we
Take the shot.
take the shot?
Take the shot. Take the shot.
Just stayed at the In and Out. Damn it.
Take the shot over. Over and out.
That's good. That's insane.
You know what I saw though, as I was on YouTube, because I think it was, I always say Charlie because Charlie was the one that pointed it out, but Iran was actually a really beautiful country, back in like the
That's exactly what I'm.
back in like the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Somebody did a color correction on the black and white video that they had, and enhanced it and did all that stuff. And dude, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, because just like, imagine if we stopped fucking fighting with each other. Seriously, conservative to like Democrat, Republican. Imagine if we just stopped fucking like protesting in the streets and burning down fucking houses, shooting each other in the face. Like, get your mental health in check by checking yourself into a hospital. Like, imagine if we actually cared about each other and seriously just stop being pussies.
Amen.
How much shit we would get done in this country, in this world. It's just incredible. That's what I was saying. You have a choice to be nice or evil to somebody. You have that choice every day. If you're driving in the car and somebody cuts you off, you have the choice to be like, fuck you, right? And a lot of times, it just depends on whatever mood we're in. But like, dude, imagine if we were all just nice to each other. The utopia we would be in.
Disney vibes over here.
You're talking about world peace. I think that's what Meta wanted anyway, right? Meta world peace, isn't that what he wanted? World peace. But yeah, no, it'd be a glory. I mean,
it would be incredible.
But Satan does exist, unfortunately, and there is always an opposing evil to the good. So no matter how much good you do, there's always evil that exists, and that will give you resistance. So the only way to cleanse the world or make the world a better place is to get rid of evil. And how do you do that?
Jesus.
Why can't people just have an original thought instead of just like succumbing to every single thing they hear? It's actually unbelievable.
I think a lot of them are on payroll.
No, I'm talking about your everyday human, like American citizen or whatever, right?
I'm talking about these ridiculous protests that we keep seeing. I think a lot of them, they've applied or they've gotten reached out to because of their social media, and they just they're on payroll, and then they use their influence.
Not necessarily, because you see all these protests and school walkouts, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Children are not getting paid.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why the people with influence, that's how they got reached out to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can actually go on the Soros webpage and apply to get paid by Soros as I forget what they're called.
Dean, was his name Dean Withers? Yeah, same thing. Taking from the DOC, right? Taken from the Democratic Party. He was actually on the payroll until he messed up and then got kicked off. And so we're talking about Democratic activists.
Yeah, activists, right? They get paid and. Yeah, then they go and they influence out, within their SOIs.
He was one of the ones that did that Jubilee interview with Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm talking about then. Okay.
You know that it's so funny you bring that up because people don't believe that there's truth in that statement, that there are influencers paid to not say things. And the most recent example that I can think of is Milo Yiannopoulos has a list of people that were infiltrating TPUSA. Basically, he's backing Candace is what he's doing and calling out all these Twitter accounts or X accounts and influencers like, oh, you're paid. And they're like, no, I'm not. He's like, well, then you have 10 minutes to admit that you're paid before I release the list. But yeah, I mean, it's just so crazy how influenced society could be because, again, we talked about this weeks ago. It's an epiphany because we talked about this maybe 2 months ago where we were talking about the impact on society of social influencers. So, and what validates an influencer as being truth to some people, right? Is that 1 million followers? Is it 2 million followers? What does that look like? And how quickly these people in power can go and say, hey, here's $100,000 for every time you post about protect the what's.
Oh, I don't even think it's that high. I think it's thousands of dollars. I don't think it's tens of.
So I saw an article that said it was about $7,000.
Yeah, I've seen paychecks. Yeah, I've seen paychecks. Folks have actually said, they've Freudian slipped, and then they're so proud and dumb that they're like, oh yeah, definitely get paid. Yeah, I'm getting paid for this. What's up? You know, it's like,
and it's not just one party, one side of the party. It's both sides. So,
but I don't.
I don't think you can pay
TikTok are we on?
I was gonna say, I don't,
because I've not seen a whole bunch of.
I don't think far right or even right conservative people. I think it's hard to find ones that you can pay as little money to sell their soul comparatively to liberals. Like, it just seems like a lot of, especially with liberals being, you know, so proud of, or not proud of, but like pushing for government dependence, right? Like most of them like, oh, well, this is just, you know, me getting paid for my service to my government, right?
Yeah.
So that's one mindset. But then on the right, I just don't see it being as easy to pay just some random person that's already got a job because they're conservative, another $3,500 a month to go stand on a street corner and push it. So what do? They get the CIA, feds, to come out and be like the Proud Boys, right? And then start riots on January 6th.
The only ones that I can think of that have ever been outspoken are like, but like, no, well, never mind. I was gonna say Kyle Rittenhouse, but he wasn't like an advocate that was filming himself and putting it on TikTok.
He didn't even go there to shoot somebody, and that's what they keep trying to say. Like, oh, he went there to shoot somebody, and it's like, no, freaking, he got attacked by a couple pedophiles. Yeah, a couple pedophiles, and he got a couple lucky shots off.
My question is, and maybe people in the comments could actually help with this because I'm not habitually online as much anymore, but are there actually conservative or Republican influencers out there? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm not trying to be one. I'm not trying to like back another side. Because I feel
Matt Walsh.
But he's not. But he's not. It's because Matt Walsh is a that's like been his job. I'm talking about somebody who's popped up out of nowhere that have become a influencer off of this.
Nick
like
Fuentes,
I'm saying, like Dean,
Josh Twins. Yeah,
Nick Fuentes doesn't really even say he's conservative.
He did. He
might teeter-totter around it, but
he teeter-totters a little bit. But
he's a little bit on both sides.
But I mean, Hodge Twins went against Trump's moves on Iran.
Well, so did Nick Fuentes, though.
Yeah.
So that's why I say Nick Fuentes isn't really super conservative because
I'm just not getting that on my For You pages or my Instagram.
You're probably getting like the game
Disney
stuff with Disney Mouse, Donald Duck.
PBD is one for sure. I did too.
But there's a lot of people that are. That's what we've been talking about this for weeks and how this is the great divide of the Republican Party right now because everybody that we thought was conservative is now like, whoa, pump the brakes there, Mr. DJT, like, what are you doing? I didn't put you in power for that. I thought you were conservative. Like, this is what we do. Like, so, but yeah, it's just so mixed.
Somebody called it out. I was watching something yesterday. Man, I wish I had recall like some people, but basically just kind of calling out that Trump is just doing stuff for his, like anybody who was a donor for him for the last like 12 years, right? Like he is just now doing stuff. And it was the prime example was the pesticide thing that he is making mandatory. Did y'all hear about that? Like he's made the implementation of some type of pesticide in our like national, like basically describing like the use of this pesticide is important for even national security, and it's clearly not good for consumption, but he's painting it that way. So he's just now doing things where he's essentially like,
well, he's got 2 years left, so
paying back all the people that
you know what really concerns me
here
right now, though?
So he's selling out.
While we're talking about this, is the fact that we are now 2 years away from an election, and there is no like, yep, that's the candidate for the Republican Party.
I like Wesley Hunt.
No, well, me too, but there's nobody. I mean, what is it? There's like rumors of
it's a shoe-in that it's JD Vance, basically.
That it's Vance and what was her name? They said it's a woman that's going to run with him.
Really?
Yeah, I forget her name though. I'd have to go back and research it a little bit more. But that's my biggest concern because we all know who the Democrats are going to put on the ticket.
Bro, if it's Kamala and AOC,
Kamala and AOC
they ain't even trying if that's what they do.
But there's even more speculation about Gruesome Newsom.
Vote for a potato before I vote for freaking Kamala and AOC.
But I mean, I just don't know. Like, there's no dominant Republican other than JD Vance. We've historically as Republicans only ever had like one prime candidate. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is like subprime, right? Like they're like, oh yeah, you look like a Democrat, but you have Republican values. You're a shill.
I mean, Rubio kissed the wall, so it'll probably be Vance and Rubio.
Possibly.
Yeah. That's my guess.
Or do we see DeSantis?
Nah. Trump and DeSantis fell off. Remember DeSantimonious?
We're coming in interesting times, but I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. Really, it really is. It's the war of religion right now.
Something like that.
What are your thoughts on like the big issue and events happening? Right, like
I hate it when Americans die for not protecting our country, because I don't believe that going into Iran right now was in the betterment of our country. I think that we were defending and helping another country, and it sucks that Americans have already died.
But a lot of people,
it's ridiculous.
I agree with that 100%. Like that's where I'm at right now. Is like I hate that we're losing lives.
Military leadership
Because of this.
is informing their soldiers, service members, to delete Snapchat and Uber. So apparently, a couple of the folks that died in the barracks, they were pinpointed by IRGC hackers, because even if you turn off your location services on Snapchat and Uber, they can still pinpoint where you're at. So I've deleted Snapchat.
You only had Snapchat for boobies.
My gamer buddies all use Snapchat. I told them, I was like,
See ya.
they're guys.
Boobies.
They're not fat guys.
Oh, okay.
One of them was. So I guess.
You haven't seen.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, but yeah, no, just I was like, I messaged them this weekend. I was like, hey guys, just to let you know, gonna get off Snap. Join the Discord. See you guys later. So Snapchat's not a thing anymore for me,
But no, I agree with David. Like
boobies.
I just don't think that it's in the betterment of the U.S. right now to be over there. Which is why I asked the question, because a lot of people are like, oh, this is biblical script. Like this is, Jesus playing out what he wants to play out. And I always go back to like Israel wasn't really a state until 1948, somewhere around there. The name Israel was a God-given name to Jacob's people. It was never given to a state. It wasn't like, this is the land of Israel. It was, you are my people. I shall call y'all Israel.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's alleged that the Ashkenazi, including Epstein, Netanyahu, and the infamous Rothschild family, are descendants of Esau. So they're trying to steal back the birthright that Esau sold to Jacob. When Esau sold his birthright, the Lord became indignant toward him and his descendants forever. That's Malachi 1:4. Esau went on to marry 2 Canaanite women, the cursed descendants of Ham, Genesis 9:25, and enemies of Israel, Deuteronomy 20:17. This nation became known as the Edomites, Genesis 36:2-3. Relations between the Edomites and Israelites started off cordial, Deuteronomy 23:7. However, the Edomites betrayed Jacob and sided with Babylon during the siege of Jerusalem. So that's Ezekiel 25:12-14. This event kindled God's wrath. The Edomites are to Israel what Judas is to Christ. From then on, God declares that in the last days he will judge Edom so harshly that none of those who reject Christ will survive the day of the Lord. In the time of Nebuchadnezzar, the Edomites took an active part in the plunder of Jerusalem and in the slaughter of the Jews. It is on account of these cruelties that Edom was so violently denounced by the prophets. As history progressed, the Edomites went on to become known as the Edomians. Here it is important to note that many nations have been rendered new names which obscure their biblical origins. To reconnect nations back to Shem, Ham, and Japheth, you'll have to do some digging. So Edom means Edomian descendants of Esau, land of Edom, Edomian land. After the Maccabean revolt, 167 to 160 BC, the Hasmonean dynasty went on to forcefully convert the Edomites, to Judaism in 125 BC. Soon after, the Romans would depose the last Hasmonean ruler, Antigonus II Mattathias, with an Edomite ruler. Guess who? King Herod. Y'all know who that is?
Heard it, but don't know.
King Herod is the one that killed all of the children when Jesus was born, because he heard that Jesus was born, basically. So it's the reason why Mary and Joseph went.
He's the one.
Antigonus called Herod an Edomian half-Jew, Antiquities 14.15. Ptolemy, in his writing on King Herod, stated, "The Jews are such by nature, whilst the Edomians were not Jews, but after being subdued by the Judeans were called Jews." Jesus warned of this group in Revelation 3:9. Not only did Herod slay a multitude of innocent children, Matthew 2:16 through 18, he put his own wife and children to death, Antiquities 15:7 and 16. Slaughtered the original Sanhedrin, replacing them with those who would later put Christ on trial. Almost done. Herod burned all the Jewish genealogical records in an attempt to hide his ignoble origins. From that time on, Umayyads presented themselves as Jews to all of modern history. The Edomites, a nation of Canaanites, sided with Babylon, later infiltrated Israel, and pretended to be Jews, usurped the Jewish throne, and then assisted in crucifying Jesus. It should now be making sense why the Lord declared, Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. That's Romans 9:13, Malachi 1:2 through 3. So, the Bible prophesies that Edomites and Canaanites will be occupying Jerusalem in the last days. That's Zechariah 14. It also declares Israel and Judah do not return to Jerusalem until the return of the Messiah. And that's all over Jeremiah and Ezekiel and Zechariah. Those prophecies reveal the group currently occupying Jerusalem are the Canaanite Edomites, a group that claim they are Jews and are not, but lie. Revelation 3:9. Again, just that's such an important verse. It says it that people will pretend to be Jews and occupy the land, but are not actually Jews. You will know them by their star. They are the synagogue of Satan that Jesus warned us about in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. So modern DNA evidence published in the Cell, the genomic history of the Bronze Age Southern Levant, confirms the Ashkenazi are Canaanites, not Shemites. They are the Edomites that were prophesied to occupy Jerusalem in the last days, Zechariah 14:21. Again, you can test for your Ashkenazi Jew mutant gene mutation.
Crazy.
So, the Rothschild family, who received the Balfour Declaration in 1917, helped establish modern Israel in 1948, are leading members of the Synagogue of Satan, the Edomites, the Shield of Edom. Their surname in German means red shield. However, when it is translated into Hebrew, the truth of their ethnic origins are revealed. The surname Rothschild corresponds to Magen Edom, meaning Shield of Edom. The Ashkenazi have majority Canaanite DNA because they are Edomites of the Bible. They're the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews and are not, but lie. The very nation God will judge when Jesus Christ returns. They will build the third temple, which is what they're doing right now. They will usher in the Antichrist, which is what they're trying to do. And most importantly, they will be defeated. So they are not our greatest ally. They are deceivers claiming to be Jews. They are enemies of Jesus Christ, and they believe our Lord, Jesus Christ, is boiling in excrement. It's a lot. And that goes all the way
But it
back to Noah.
validates.
Yeah, exactly what you're talking about. It goes all the way back to Noah. Still got more on that. Yeah, crazy stuff, eh?
So if it's true, the current BB is an, what do you call it, an Edomite? Edomite, or has a bloodline of the Edomites. Currently occupying Jerusalem.
Building a third temple and just kind of ushering the Antichrist. The only way to effectively usher in the Antichrist, and I'll make my final point on this, is if you create a central bank that runs the world and is run through digital ID. So the only way that you can buy or sell is by accepting the mark, which will then validate you. And the only way to do that effectively is through biometrics, which we do have the technology to be able to do.
Make sure to check all these show notes in the Discord. Gary will be posting all of his sources. In the Discord.
Or just ask me, because I'm not going to post anything.
Just comment on the video and Gary will reply.
Yeah, just ask me. I'll send it to you. Wow, what a lot to catch up with. Thank you guys for, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for joining us on Truth Disorder. Man, crazy times.
Crazy times indeed.
Glad to be back during a time of war.
True. I also haven't seen a whole lot of institutional buyers buying out real estate anymore. I've actually got a lot more calls from investors, which is really cool, which means that local investing is on the up and up, not from BlackRock. So that's good news, I think.
We're going to have to dig on that a little bit.
I think so as well.
Maybe the war could be the catalyst to kickstart our economy into a. It's already doing okay. It's on a little roller coaster.
It's just history repeating itself.
It always is.
Maybe that's the catalyst. Maybe we start a war, scare all the industrial investors, institutional investors. Leaves room for middlemen, little guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Truth Disorder. Catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
I'm about to pee my pants.